Oh, good morning, everyone, or evening, depending on where you're watching from. Just had about 40 minutes today, so I'm just working on some Sat 9s, just blocking in armor panels. So I thought chuck up a stream, say hello, see if anyone wants to jump on and keep me company for 40 minutes while I complete this monotonous task of blocking out SAS 9 armor. As fun as it is. Also, thank you for those that jumped onto the first stream that I did the other day, where I was just kind of testing everything. I know it was a bit low quality. I've managed to connect my iPhone as my main camera now, using a bit of clever software, so that's good. Because now I can stream in a bit of higher resolution. And then I've got my webcam, which I was using as the main video source to actually, so you can see my face now, which is interesting, for better or worse. So this is what I look like when I've just kind of rolled out of bed. So you're welcome, everybody. But yeah, no, thank you for the feedback and for jumping on with me the other day. It was great to meet some of you. I am slowly working through these guys. I'm using AK Black to black out the armor panels here, and I primed the model in Jet Exhaust below metal color because it's a lot faster to black out the armor panels than actually prime the whole model black and then paint in the little joints and things in metal color. So because they're a little bit hard to get to, some of them. So that's the reason I've done it that way. If I was using maybe a lighter color as a base coat, I might rethink this, but because I'm using black and it coats well, it's the easiest way to do it. And yeah, I kind of finished my Praetor for the army. I think he's looking pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure if I'm happy with the darkness. I did go a little bit brighter for his armor than I did on the test model. So this was the test that I did. But he's probably a little bit grayer. But I actually think now that I'm looking side by side, I actually prefer the deeper black. So I'm probably going to go back over him with a bit of Starship filth just to darken down the armor panels again a little bit further. But yeah, that's all I'm really getting done today. Very simple stuff. As I said, I'm only going to be streaming for maybe 30 or 40 minutes, just while I get this done. Thank you for those who have checked out my latest video as well around the Blood Angels armor. I did a few kind of test models before doing that video because I'm not a big fan of painting red, I've got to be honest, but I thought I'd try and do something a little bit different. A couple of you suggested the recipe would be great for red Corsairs, and I agree. Actually, I wouldn't mind picking up some 40k Corsairs and giving that a go because I think it would look good. But yeah, I was a bit unsure about putting that video out, to be honest, because I'm just not a big fan of red, and I didn't know whether it looked good or not. But I did enjoy painting it regardless. Got a couple of videos I'm working on at the moment. I probably will start releasing them earlier to the guys on Patreon, but then really releasing them all on YouTube. I want everything to be available to everybody, really, apart from a couple of things. So at the moment I'm not going too heavy on the exclusive Patreon content because I really want to just try and meet as many people as possible and get people involved. And to be honest, I just love chatting to everyone in general, and I don't want to lock anyone out from being able to connect. I think that's important, and everyone's been so supportive so far. It's been really lovely, and I've only really been focusing on this channel for a few weeks, so it's been very nice. Um, and for those of you that have supported on Patreon, I really appreciate it because I know it's not easy out there for a lot of people at the moment. So even the small bit of support is amazing because it does allow me to do more of this stuff, which I'd much rather be doing for everybody. Um, but yeah, so this guy is done, and this big kind of panel at the back here, I just leave still silver. Not gonna do all too much more with that really. Yeah. Next, this is number 4 of 12. We're almost there, and I can move on to the fun stuff. To be honest, these don't take very long to paint up. I do have 2 Spartans, which are their dedicated transport. So got they've already had their base coats, so going heavy flamers, las cannons. Just the idea is they kind of race straight in and cause panic as these guys disembark. So they're the main kind of core of my army. Yeah, so I'm going to be probably the next video I put out is going to be an Emperor's Children painting tutorial, because I've done a lot of Emperor's Children in the past, and I was saying the other day I love painting purple and magentas and those pinky tones. I just think it's cool. And after I've done this army, this army for me is really just an opportunity to get some models on the table as quickly as possible, because it is mostly black with yellow accents, so it's not particularly tricky to get a good tabletop army ready to go, and I can start playing with 3,000 points and learning the game, because I've not played much Horus Heresy, but I'm really eager to get into it. And then after that I can start working on an Emperor's Children army, because I love melee combat. I like the idea of just running in aggressively and chopping people to pieces. That's my style of army that gets my juices flowing. So Emperor's Children, apart from having a cool color scheme, they also have the exact kind of play style that I really enjoy, which is one of the reasons why I'm going Saturnine heavy with this force, because I just want them to very much a thematic force. I'm not playing to win. I'm playing to have fun, and with a high risk of these guys blowing themselves up at the end of the day, which I think is just funny. So I enjoy that kind of gameplay. I hope you're all having a lovely morning or day wherever you are. I know that I'm speaking to quite a few people from Canada and the United States, which is super cool. I'm in Australia, so the time zone is quite different. Um, but like I said to someone I was chatting to from Germany, Millie, the other day, that I'll make sure to post these streams to the channel so people can jump in and watch them if they wish at another time. But it's currently coming up to midday in Sydney right now. Wish this guy would stop moving. It would make things a lot easier. Hey, Runsev. Good morning or evening, wherever you are. Trying to get these Sat 9s base coated, ready for the airbrush today. But I'm just going to be on here for another 30 minutes or so. Thought I'd just chuck up a stream and see who's around. Ah, greetings, Texas. That's amazing. It's so cool. Um, how is it out there? It's I'm sure it's hot, right? Are you working on salamanders? Yeah, I'd love to. It's on the list actually to do a salamander painting video. I've really wanted to play around with greens as well, and greens and purple shading, and using some purple inks and stuff. So I'm yeah, it's near the top of the list to do some salamander stuff. I've also not done kind of lava bases and things before. Um, I don't know if I'll do the traditional basing scheme. I find it maybe a little bit too tongue in cheek, but I definitely want to give some Salamander's armor a go. Um, yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I think I'd quite like to use this one as the base, which is a bit brighter, but I like to go a little bit brighter because I use oils, so um, it tends to end up dulling down. So dark green is the base coat I want to use, but I then want to do some shading with this one here, amethyst blue, which is like this purpley blue, which I think would be really cool before applying some purple oil paint as a filter, just to really bring out the saturation. But yeah, I'd love to do some salamanders at some point. I'm not sure whether I'd do um, what models I would use though. I tend to enjoy painting Heresy a little bit more because I just enjoy the scale. Um, but yeah, it is on the list. It's just gone midday in Sydney, uh, Runsev. So my my fiance is at the gym, so I'm just taking an opportunity to get some of these guys done, and then it's life maintenance day, so it's shopping and cooking and meal prepping and all the fun stuff. So I thought I'd just jump on quickly now and say good day. Yeah, in fairness, I completely agree. That is in my mind, and I'd love to do some 3D printed flame bits as well, and mess around with some OSL. I think that would be super cool. Um, I did some flame OSL on my Instagram page probably like a couple of years ago now, but that was a lot of fun. These are going to be for Imperial Fists. So here is my Praetor, um, which is almost done, I guess. I'm just trying to get these guys to a tabletop plus kind of standard because I'm actually not too familiar with the rules for Horus Heresy, so I'm wanting to get in and start playing. So I painted him first because I thought he was cool, but I was saying just earlier on the stream that I went a bit brighter with the armor color compared to my test model. So this was the kind of the test armor that I did first, and the greys are a lot more subtle, and it's a lot darker. And actually, I think I prefer the darker armor to the slightly more grey version of the black. So I might go back in with some oils again and just dull it down a little bit further. That's very nice of you to say. I mean, to be honest, the oil does most of the work. I think as long as you can apply some neat trim, it's literally just base coat it black, and I've done a puff of highlights with the airbrush and then coated it in oil, and it makes it look very good. But it doesn't take a whole lot of skill or time. So, but that's perfect for these guys because I just want to get them on the table and get some games going, so that I can then move on to. I really want to do an Emperor's Children army, but I want to spend some time on them because I want them to be a bit more of a professional paint job. Whereas these guys, I'm really just using all the tricks for army painting to try and get them done as quickly and as efficiently as possible. But I'm doing this black armor basically the same as the Raven Guard tutorial on my YouTube channel. Yeah, lava bases are difficult, eh? Because you've got to get the OSL right, otherwise they can end up looking quite flat. Um, yeah, I've got to be honest, I'm a bit intimidated to give it a go because it seems like a lot of effort. And when you're doing a squad of 10, I don't know, I have the patience to do 10 lava bases, but yeah, no, it can look really good or it can look a bit flat sometimes. Ella Miniaturista, I've seen him do amazing lava bases, but he's the king of OSL, so I'm not surprised. Um, but yeah, I'd be keen to give it a go at least, um, just to try something new. So these guys are done. So pop them back up here. I've got my makeshift staging area for all my all my Saturnines. And we're almost halfway. Oh, the fun. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, look, I've got to be honest. I've been trying more as I am more experienced with the hobby and painting to try and rely on the airbrush less. I do think there's a real lovely definition you get from painting without the airbrush, that you don't get with airbrush. Ends up looking very clean, very nice, but there's a grittiness that you get, and texture with painting with brush that I think actually adds to the model. So I predominantly use my airbrush for like base coats and a little bit of OSL and things like that, like the glow around these these little doodads on his chest and by his head, a little puff of red and things, just because I need a smooth finish. But yeah, look, I think the airbrush is great, and you can get them pretty cheap now from a lot of places. Like if you think of how much you spend on brushes at the end of the day, like it's not too difficult to find a pretty good entry level airbrush. The compressor I bought was super cheap, and it's lasted me a good couple of years. And if you take care of them, they kind of pay for themselves. But I appreciate that not everyone has access to an airbrush or has the luxury. But using a sponge, the big thing that's kind of come out of nowhere, where everyone's using sponges instead of airbrushes. I think that's a great method as well, and I think it gets really lovely transitions and great results that almost look identical to the airbrush, but if not, sometimes a little bit better, because they add that bit of texture and interest, which I think is actually probably more important than the super creamy blends. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, you're using sponge. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think the sponge is great. Super easy to build up definition quickly. Um, it acts as a recess shade as well, because it doesn't hit the recesses. Yeah, I think the sponge is a great tool. So you playing mostly 40K, or do you dabble in a little bit of heresy as well? Yeah, yeah. I played a little bit of 10th edition. I'm super excited for orcs. I've got to be honest. I don't know how you feel about the 11th edition box, but for me, orcs all the way. I'm very excited to get my hands on that big mech. Just so much fun, so much character. The Blood Angels, meh, they're kind of cool, I guess. Some of the sculpts are cool. A bit dull, in my opinion, but I've probably got a bit of Space Marine fatigue, I've got to be honest. The orcs seem a lot more fun to me. Um, I'm looking forward to painting some green skin. Again, that's a opportunity to use the brush a lot more than the airbrush. Are you looking forward to the 11th edition box, or would you be orcs, or would you be blood angels? The new land speed is pretty cool, I've got to say. I do enjoy it. Excuse me. But I think if I will pick up the box, but For me, it'd be Raven Guard. I would. I love black armor, so and if I want to get a 40k army done quickly, that box be Raven Guard done. Because a lot of the stuff in that box is equally as suitable for that kind of cloak and dagger, fast attack sort of force. You're feeling more the Space Marines. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I don't know what it is about red. I just find it a really kind of difficult, not difficult color to paint, but to enjoy painting. I just tend to find that most of the like red is um, not a very malleable color. It's kind of there's darker reds and brighter reds, but there's not much tonal variation that you can get out of reds because otherwise you go pink or you go orange. But I find it quite a it's not a fun color for me. But that's just personal preference, I think. I know that there's a there's a lot of people that absolutely love Blood Angels. I think the lore is cool. I think the lore is really cool. But yeah, I just couldn't paint a whole army of them. I think I'd get bored. Saying that, here I am blocking out armor panels in black. So what do I know? I'm a hypocrite. The thing I think I enjoy about Horus Heresy, the reason it kind of gets me a little bit more excited is I like the reactions. So the ability to kind of have a turn within the opponent's turn, whereas 40k is like really kind of just like waiting for the other person to be done, and then it's not as as fluid in my opinion the game. But excited to see how 11th edition plays. But again, just personal preference. I think I prefer to be more involved in the game. I feel like Horus Heresy kind of allows you to do that. I also love the idea of just lots of miniatures on the table, and although it can be a little bit more tricky to get a large force, 3,000 points done for Horus Heresy, I like the ability to look at the board and just see, a whole shed load of units just sitting there. As someone that used to play a lot of real-time strategy games and things, and back in the day with Supreme Commander, Command and Conquer, I like just being able to like look down on all these different units all doing their thing. I just think it's the scale of it's cool. Whereas 40k is a little bit more controlled, I guess. Yeah, I know. It's a shame they won't allow Sat9s to be used in 40k, right? At least that's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I agree. I think there's a lot of like legacy units that you can use in 40k still, but it does seem like they're trying to really separate the games and make it like you can only take this for Horus Heresy, you can only take this for 40k, which I guess makes them money, right? Because they can make the same units twice. But yeah, I agree. I think Sat9s should be able to use in 40k. I think that would be very cool. Even if they just gave them a bit of changed them up a little bit, Primarisified them, I guess. I wouldn't be completely opposed to that, but yeah, I think Saturnines, especially like my understanding is Salamander's lore. It was like the Saturnines kind of came from the Salamanders, right? Is that am I correct in my understanding? Because I know Saturnines weren't technically um, they were kind of a bit of a kind of made up, right? There wasn't really any true evidence of them, but they were a bit of a cult classic unit that people wanted to see, but there's not a lot of like lore to back them up. But I think Salamanders was like where they were meant to have started. Yeah, I don't know much about the lore. Um, I just thought they were like mentioned once in 40K, like back in the 90s, and then people just kind of ran with it and started creating their own lore around them, and it kind of just stuck. So actually, thinking about that, I'll show you something funny that I found the other day. Here we go. This will make you laugh. So back before Saturnines were a thing, check out this 3D printed guy that I found in my bits box the other day when I was rummaging through. It's quite comical now. Um, so yeah, well, I think I 3D printed these a few years ago. Hilarious. And the difference. Anyway, I just thought that was a funny find. My God, yeah, the thing I was digging through was this big box of old like miniatures. Um, I mean, honestly, there's some there's some stuff in here. I've got there's bits of Dreadnought, bits of tank. Like, my goodness, so many random bits of stuff from a bygone age. Hey, K-Track. Currently painting a Night Hysteria. I feel you. It's the reason I chucked up the stream today. I was like, if people join and start talking to me, then it's going to motivate me to get these armor panels blocked out. Because honestly, this is what Purgatory looks like. I'm sure it's just an infinite table of Saturnine armor panels that you need to block out for eternity. Um, it's yeah, pretty monotonous, but I'm almost there. Well, look, feel free to join the Discord. I've got a community Discord if you want to chuck your whips in there. It'd be great to see what you're working on. Um, as I said, the channel is still growing, and the support I've got so far has been so lovely. Everyone's been amazing. But I love doing these videos, and I want to do more live streams. But yeah, I'm always curious to see what everyone's doing. That's what this hobby's about, right? It's like everyone losing their minds about 3D printed terrain from Games Workshop being ready painted now. Like, I don't think they'd ever do that to miniatures because I think they'd just turn everyone off. They'd be playing a dangerous game because painting is what this hobby is about. I mean, I don't play much, but I paint a lot. Okay, all more done. Where are you joining us from, K-Trek? Are you in Australia or somewhere else? Ohio, USA. What is the timeout over there, guys? Like, it's got to be late in the day, no? Because it's midday here in Sydney, so I can't imagine it's early. Bedtime, 11 p.m. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I thought as much. Well, I'll be jumping off here in probably less than 10 minutes anyway. As I said, it's Saturday morning, and it's a life maintenance day. So shopping, food prep, all the fun stuff. me and my fiance celebrated our 5-year anniversary last night, so feeling a little bit dusty as well. Much champagne was consumed, so need to get moving. Yeah, sorry. I might throw up a stream a bit later, but I'm sure you will be tucked up in bed. And I won't hold that against you. You deserve to sleep, my friend. But I will post these all to my YouTube channel as well. So if you did want to watch in your own time, I can't promise there'll be anything too exciting going on, but I'll post them there in case anyone's interested to catch up on what was discussed. Also, how's the audio? I was saying earlier that I need to invest in a bit of better a microphone for these sorts of streams, but I'm just using the webcam audio at the moment, so I know it's not the best, but is it okay? Is it too loud, too quiet, or is it all right? Any other questions on the law? Probably many questions. As someone that doesn't know much law about anything, really. Uh, but yeah, I find it. I mean, there's so much, right? That's very interesting. I think. Thank you for clearing up the Sat9 backstory for me because I wasn't sure. Um, But yeah, it's funny. They obviously weren't all destroyed, huh? Because suddenly we're all running many legions of Saturnine armor, which is funny. But yeah, very cool model. The only thing that I find a little bit tricky with the Sat9 is because of the human heads. I'm not sure how good they look in the armor, because the proportions are all a bit strange. Um, but uh, but maybe that's just me thinking a little bit too much into what my toy soldiers are wearing. But probably shouldn't let it bother me. But it does. It does. The proportions are weird. This guy doesn't want to stop spinning. Yeah, I'm using Kolinsky Sable, but I was actually saying that I bought these brushes off of Amazon. Um, I've got some Raphael Kolinsky Sables. These were super cheap. They are Fumui. It's a size 3. But the tip is, they've got a nice big belly. The tip is nice and pointy. Um, and I think I got them for like, what, 30 or 40 Australian dollars off Amazon. So, I imagine they'd be a bit cheaper than that for you guys, given the dollar. But yeah, they've been fantastic. And it came in like a box of 5. But this size 3 I'm really enjoying because the tip is really nice and sharp. Um, but yeah, it's been they've been really good. Probably one of the best brushes I've used in a while. Really need this guy to stop spinning. Where's little? Oh, goodness. Maple Sable. Is that the brand? Is it pretty easy to get good brushes out in the States, or do you have to like get them from Europe and import it, or how does it work there? I would think that you guys have quite a lot of your own stuff, right? Yeah, the Squidmar brushes. Look, I think it's cool what those guys are doing. Um, but in terms of value for money, I don't know. They're affiliated like paint brands with Vallejo are all very good and pretty good value for money. But when it comes to brushes, I just think there's so many options. I don't know if I'd be going to Squidmar to buy my brushes, but I've heard they're good brushes, as good as any Kolinsky Sable brush is, I guess. Yeah, Rosemary and Co. I've got a couple of those as well. They're also very good. They've got nice, good points. I've had good success with Rosemary and Co. brushes in terms of quality. All right, guys, with those two blocked out, I think I'm gonna call it quits for the day. I have four more to do, and then I'm done with them. My goodness, and I can start doing the fun stuff. Um, but yeah, they will eventually look like these guys. So yeah, these bases were a good fun to make as well. My goodness. Got the idea from Meadows Miniatures. He does these kind of broken masonry bases using plaster of Paris. So I thought I'd try something different, and that was a lot of fun to put together. But I'm just worried about the plaster chipping when I start traveling around with them. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate the company, and I'll hopefully catch up with you guys again. And as I said, feel free to join the Discord if you want to show me what you're working on. I'd love to see it. People are posting their whips in there and having a bit of a chat about it, so that'd be pretty cool. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope you both have a lovely sleep. Greetings from Australia, and I'll see you guys in the next one.